Hello folks, and welcome to our week 5 assignment for video critique. This time around we're looking at your stylistic composite images. And this is the assignment where you looked at the work of a surrealist painter or photographer and then made an image sort of in their style, or based on a specific image that they made. And we're going to take a look at those now. So, this time around we're going to be looking at Betty Jo's work, we're going to be looking at Becky's work, at Jesse's work, and at Tammy's work. So without further ado, let's jump right on in. Excuse me, we'll start with Betty Jo's work here. So we've got some trees, we got some clouds, and I gotta say, I do love sort of drawing this out just a little bit. Kind of like looking at the pieces. How are they going to come together? What is it going to look like when they're all together? And here we have some more bits here. And alright. Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten between looking at this initially and looking at this now. So what we have here is, I don't know, it kind of looks like a cloud that has like a tree growing out of it. It's like a tree and grass cloud. Let's go ahead and also scroll down here to see the other version of it here too. Was there one more? Yeah, there is. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about looking at this one. So a couple things happening here. Now, you didn't put your sort of, at least not in this part, the kind of the inspiration here. That's actually okay. But in terms of how this functions as an image, you have a little bit of just a few small technical things. You have like some sort of stuff here, some like a little bit of like your previous image kind of getting in between the branches here. Now this could be really tough to get. It's similar with something like human hair. If you're selecting around someone's head, it can be really tough to get, all their crazy hair and not give it sort of a weird kind of cut off look. And it's just there's so much edge, there's so much surface area on these things that it can be super difficult to get in all the little nooks and crannies. So you've definitely set up a challenge for yourself there. I don't know how I would do this idea any differently than you have. I'm trying to think. I have done things where I have a kind of a fun image that I did that was like a self-portrait of myself on a cloud, but that's sort of different because I used sort of some like pillow stuffing, like the soft stuff from the middle of your pillow. So pillow batting, photographed that against the sky, and then I just photographed, a picture of myself and photoshopped in there. But I could see maybe like more of like a hazy edge. It's more like a kind of like a cartoony cloud where it's like a real distinct edge. I think maybe having like a sort of smaller brush and kind of coming in and really spending a lot of work blending these edges to give them a much more hazy look. Sort of blend like even into like maybe here where it's real hazy, sort of real cloudy and indistinct on the edges. Would give a little bit more of that feel. In terms of your color palette, I would definitely say this to me looks like the most surreal, or maybe it just looks like the most psychedelic with these sort of blues, purples, magentas, kind of yellows and greens and whatnot. A ton of purple. Yeah, I would say this is probably your best version. I do like that. But I think I would say that's the biggest thing that you could do is maybe just sort of make these edges a little hazy, because you do see like the edges of all this are all these cloud parts are fairly indistinct. I think that's something maybe that could benefit yours here. Alright, Betty Joe. Up next, let's look at Becky's. Oops, sorry. That's not Becky's, that's Tammy's. Becky, okay, Becky. So, here we have her 4 original images. We have a fella fly fishing here. An island at sunrise? It looks like sunrise. Well, sunset. I don't know. Dawn or dusk, we'll call it. Alright, a butterfly and a moon. And let's see what she did with these ingredients. A little screenshot of how she put her image together. And then let's look at the composite. So yeah, we have like a... What's interesting is that this really doesn't necessarily read as fishing anymore. It's kind of like a... not entirely sure what it is. It looks just like he's holding a long, narrow stick, and then we have sort of the... okay, I do like it better as this. So we have sort of this moon as a... What, like a... almost like a... What do you call that? Crystal ball. That's what I'm thinking of. Like a crystal ball looking into this other landscape. Oh, and then I didn't even notice. Okay, so that he was on the water before. Now he's in the sky. We got the moon is a crystal ball. Oh, excuse me, with the butterfly on it. Yeah. I'm liking it. I'm digging it. It's definitely surreal. It definitely has a lot of sort of connotations of dreaming, being asleep, that sort of thing. I do like that butterfly on the moon. Although I gotta say, I would probably, if you took this level and went to Edit Transform in Photoshop and just rotated it, like maybe 25, 30 degrees this way, so the legs were a little bit more like on the sphere. Now, I'm pretty sure that's like pretty much the same. Well, you might have even kind of had it here, because this does look like that transform box. And it's okay, so you definitely did transform quite a bit. I'm thinking just maybe a little bit more of that could be in order. But yeah, I definitely like what's happening here. All your layers are blending fairly well. There's a little bit of like something that's happening here. I think that's coming out of the boosted contrast here. Like that just didn't quite pick up the entire selection, or something happened there. But otherwise, I thought that was pretty neat. Pretty effective. And I do like that butterfly on the moon. Sort of bizarre and dreamlike in a good way. Oh, sorry. I can't stop yawning this evening. Alright, now Jesse, I gotta say, I thought this image was a lot of fun. First of all, this girl is a cutie pie, and has a really great, sort of expressive face. Oh, I gotta say, delightful. There it is, okay. Go ahead and zoom out here so we can actually see it. So I'm guessing this is your daughter. I can't remember if you wrote that on there or not. I kind of look at too many of these things. Just adorable. Delightful. I gotta say, I love it. So apparently her bad side is winning, the grumpy side, as opposed to the good sweet little girl side. There we go. So I just want to be able to see the whole thing at once. Very nicely done. Pretty believable. I think maybe just a slight shadow or something on the bottom, or the other thing you could have kind of done is maybe well, like I buy it here. I guess I do buy it because it's like a little bit of an overhang. So maybe just like a little bit of shadowing right at her feet. But I have to say, wow, I am very impressed by this. What a lot of fun. No, of course, I have kids, so I tend to think that. Well, I tend to think that of my own kids as being delightful, less so other kids. Although I do like kids. Um, but yeah, there's just something so fun and playful about this image. Um, Sort of you have the kind of the idea of the good angel and the bad angel standing on your shoulders. Although in this case, she's actually holding them up. And I like that because she's wearing the pajamas, I kind of get the idea of like it's bedtime and she doesn't want to go to bed. So she's being very stubborn about it. And again, I think partially bedtime, partially this sort of sleepy pose and like the kind of grumpy pose. But yeah, this is just a lot of fun. I gotta say, really enjoyed that. So yeah, Jesse, nice work. Uh, Cracking me up on this one. But believable, absolutely. Lighting all matches. I almost just clicked off it for whatever reason. Um, Lighting all matches. Yeah, other than the maybe a little shadowing, like just right at the very bottom. Yeah, no, ton of fun. Loved it. And so, okay, last but not least, we have Tammy's, which we got just a slight preview of earlier. Oh, there it is again. Because I can't seem to figure out how to do it. Okay, so we got some trees here. We got the house. We have the girl, and we have the background. And what I really like about this, Tammy, besides the fact that it really works well together, is that you really seemed comfortable with the idea of really kind of bending like the spatial relationship. Like I think this is really effective. Like the trees coming out like sideways like this definitely feels very dreamy. Kind of adds another element of like potentially danger or something that's happening here. And I mean, I don't want to sound cliched at all, but it does remind me a little bit of kind of what was happening in the movie Inception, where they really play with the space. They sort of they're in the city and they sort of, you see it fold up and over the top of them. I think you have a bit of that going on here in terms of playing with, distorting spatial stuff. And that does feel very dreamlike. Also, the way that this is distorted, like the house is kind of out of true, slightly bulgy, also feels like that's really effective. And then again, like the use of the black and white everywhere except for right here, pretty effective. So yeah, all in all, very well done. Let's see if we get even a better here. Now there's just a couple of tiny things. I'm not even gonna, just like tiny little things like this. I'm not even gonna go into it beyond that. Just saying, like, I noticed that. It's such a small thing. When you consider like what a fun and exciting image this is, and like what it's like a really sophisticated use of a lot of this stuff. So I applaud you, Tammy. You definitely you kicked butt on this one. So yeah, way to go. I'm gonna go ahead and click out of that too. So it is that time once again where I space out because I got distracted. It's the part where I give you the word or words to let me know that you watched the entire video. This time around, those words are red lampshade. If you haven't figured out the game yet, I basically don't think about these words until it's that time in the video, and then I frantically search around the room visually, look all around the room where I'm sitting, and if nothing jumps out at me, then I basically close my eyes and try and imagine something. Or I just, spark an idea off something I've seen in the room. So that is the big secret. I never actually plan this part out in advance, even though I should. So yeah, red lampshade will let me know that you watched the whole thing. So yeah, we don't have, this is it for week 5. Week 6, we have the final project. which I'm probably going to do video critiques for. I usually do, but sometimes I'm just trying to write a little bit more thorough thing. But I am going to do video critiques, so I guess I'll see you guys all for the final project. Until then, keep working hard and keep making interesting stuff.